Welcome back to the Art of MMA podcast. Ooh, feels good to say it. Feels so good to say it.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Kick It Post Production with your host Amal Thompson and Roger Walls. How you doing,
Hey,
Roger?
Roger.
Hey,
I'm doing
hey,
good.
hey. Awesome.
Sorry.
No. Come in. Introduce yourself. Do that.
Yeah, I'm Roger.
We've been gone for a bit.
Yes.
We're back now.
Quite a while. Yes.
Yes. There was a lot of
Good.
interesting things that happened since we've been gone. We'd like to cover some of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But specifically this weekend, we're going to go ahead and cover the previous card to kind of get us back in the flow of things. Pretty interesting card. Definitely a little bit underwhelming based on what it was sold to be. You know, we were excited for the Aspinall Gone fight. We thought it would be a little bit of a wash. In talks off pod, we discussed the path to victory for Tom and the path to victory for Gone. And we weren't able to really see that come to fruition. But the card leading up was, decent. I'm not going to say great. We had better cards the previous weekends, in my opinion. But there's some stuff that definitely got shaken up in all the divisions based on what happened. Any of the prelim fights that you watched before the main card started really stuck out to you?
Well, there were a few of them. The fight of the night, from what I saw from the prelims, was Nathaniel Wood and Jose Miguel Delgado.
Okay.
I don't know if you got to see that one, but that is worth watching for anybody who likes fights. If you love striking matches, back and forth, guys just swinging, good technical fighting. Delgado is young, and Nathaniel Wood is not old either, but he was the veteran in here. And man, I think it was kind of mixed in there on who actually won the fights. It's one of those pick'ems even at the end of the fight, but the judges gave it to Wood. It's real iffy, and when you leave it to the judges, that's kind of what you get. You get some that maybe you disagree with, but somebody's got to make a decision somewhere. And they went with Nathaniel Wood, but Delgado showed that he's probably going to be a top tier fighter if things keep going this way. Maybe top 5. He might even get the belt one day.
Really?
He is very good.
Okay.
So if you missed that fight, go back and watch it.
Yeah, I need to tune into that one for sure. I was in a group chat where people were kind of active about it. That fight specifically. I was on the road during the prelims. I think I was at the fair, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
With the family.
All
so
right.
Missed a lot of the prelims, missed a lot of the main card as well, but was able to catch a few that were right before the main card started. I think mine was definitely. I think it's interesting because the fighter that won got cut actually right after the fight card concluded. Chris Barnett, the Chris Barnett fight. I don't know if you saw much about it.
I saw the fight. What?
Yeah.
Abdel Wahab.
Yeah, Abdel Wahab got cut. Yeah.
What for?
I guess they just weren't too sold, man, on performance necessarily.
Well, he was.
I think he was active enough. I think.
Yeah.
I think he definitely prioritized the ground game. I do feel like he wasn't a worse version of another fighter that we'll talk about on this card, but I feel like there was enough activity consistently, even with his persistence of takedowns, even though he was actually being successful on the feet against Chris Barnett, where I thought that would be Chris Barnett's advantage.
He was.
I thought it was a well fought fight by him. I don't know.
I did too.
I don't know why he would get
the
cut
one
up
thing
now.
I'll say, if you had anything against him, there were probably two things. One, it didn't look like he was trying to finish the fight.
Yes.
So much as just ground and pound, but it wasn't in a way that seemed like he was trying to finish. And I know that comes off a little weird because he is punching him, but it just didn't seem like he was trying to finish him. The other thing was he did get a point taken from him.
Yeah.
for hitting in the back of the head.
Hmm.
And that's something we'll see throughout this card was points taken and referees being a lot stricter.
No, for sure. No, for sure. Not as many warnings. Getting right to the point,
Yeah.
which I feel like is a
Hmm.
very, very um, important important development going into the Paramount era of the UFC as well.
Yeah.
To not really waste time with necessarily like allowing things to get too far to the point where by the time
Hmm.
it's time to take a point, damage might have gone a little bit, excessive.
Yeah.
So, but no, I was surprised he got cut off of that performance. I thought it was decent enough to keep him as a player, especially in that heavyweight division that does not have many players. Um,
Right.
but there's a guy though that's still making noise in that heavyweight division. Um, he had a severed foot on a necklace at the weigh-ins because
As he should.
his previous three fights were ended by a heel hook. And there was a multitude of running jokes and memes, especially by him, that he was going to go for this heel hook again, fourth win by heel hook, and the prophecy was fulfilled. 4 heel hook
Yes.
wins in a row. He, there was some adversity in this one. He came out afterwards and said that he dealt with a leg break in the fight. Um, I guess one that was bearable because he was able to still stand on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, crazy, crazy work. I've never seen a run like this in the UFC ever. 4 submissions in a row
No.
is difficult in itself, but 4 submissions of similar um, result.
Yeah.
Insane, insane.
And a lot of times, you see a submission coming. This guy, he's got all the skills it takes to pull off the submission, but he's got 3 people in a row with a rear naked choke or a Kimura. Protect your neck, protect your arm, whatever. This guy's coming with heel hooks. And they're pretty, I mean, you can see a heel hook coming sometimes. But, with MMA and where legs come into play, it can come out of nowhere. And he has gotten at least, I think his last 3 have been from different angles on everybody. So you think your foot's protected, you think you're good. All of a sudden, he jumps down there and grabs you. I think you've got to be hitting him constantly to keep him off your legs. And even then, you're still going to be in danger. Heel hooks are one of those things that are just, they're hard to protect against if somebody gets your leg and gets you in that right position. And he just seems to have a nose to get there.
The one before this one, they were literally standing up against the cage and he just slid down the guy's back.
Yeah.
and locked up the heel. So I feel like you just have to be on such high alert. I think the only thing that could really, like you said, deter it is the high pace, a lot of activity. Keep him focused, keep him engaged in what you're doing strike wise, so that he can't really get to the leg. But I don't know, man. At 15-1 in a heavyweight division that we've spoken about previously on the podcast is not the strongest. And this weekend showing was not amazing either. We could see him in a matchup against some of the higher level heavyweights who are not well versed in ground practices, a la the Derek Lewis's, right? Big Derek Lewis fan, but I could definitely see him getting caught by a heel hook.
He would be having to be on the lookout for it.
For sure. And his activity is not really high pace. I mean, he's a heavy hitter, so Vulture could get into a very dangerous game trying to go for that submission against a guy like that. But there's definitely guys on the way up that I feel like Vulture could take advantage of, and maybe even continue this reign of heel hooks all the way to a potential title fight. But excited to see where he could kind of take that. Do you have a fight that you'd really want to line him up with going up next?
I think this guy just fought, and he's already ranked. Delesia Antidelegia. He's ranked at 9 by UFC. I feel like he could do something against Fulter in the way that he'll keep him at the end of his hands, and he'll strike him and keep him there. See, because once Fulter gets in a spot, it is behind you, or he's got you concentrated on something else. A lot of the upper body stuff, that's how he had the guy against the fence in his last fight, and the guy's back was to him, I think. Or no, maybe his back wasn't even to him. But he's keeping him focused on the upper body, and then he jumps for that leg. He did the same thing on this one, to where he's taking the guy down and he's keeping everything towards the top end. If you keep him at distance, there are ways to get a heel hook, but they're a lot harder. They're a lot easier to stay out of. And I feel like a guy like that, who's big, he's strong, he's going to keep you at the end of his punches. I think he'd be a good matchup and a good challenge. But once Fulcher gets in on you, you have to watch your legs. But if he gets too happy going for the legs, somebody could set him up.
They can. And I mean, there's no absence of hands for him. I think he does have decent striking. It's just this has been working for him since he's gotten to the UFC. So, maybe we'll see him switch it up a bit once he gets into those higher level matches. But for now, I think it's just a joy to watch somebody where that's the preferred method of winning, and he keeps finding a way to kind of get in there, and make it a tough one.
You know who would be good for him?
Who?
And we'll talk about this later. Jelton Almeida.
Oh gosh, yeah, but gosh,
did you see the grappling between those two and see if he can get a heel hook?
Yes.
If he can get it on Almeida, he can get it on anybody.
Yes, I would enjoy watching that attempt. I know you said
the rest of the fight would be boring, but that
1,000%,
attempt would be amazing.
1,000%. They'd have to stand him up probably 2 or 3 times around, and then at that point, I feel they should just start the round without even standing up. I think they should start the round with both of them body locked, to start the rounds off.
Just body locked together like Greco-Roman.
Yes, they should start that way. I know you were talking about the Nathaniel Wood fight. How you saw some strong potential out of Delgado, even though he lost. What were your big takeaways from that one on the prelims?
Out of that fight in particular?
Yeah.
Wood he's just got that winning instinct that he's just going to do what it takes to get that win, no matter how bad he's getting beat up. If the guy's, broke his nose in the first round, which I think probably happened, he turned around and put Delgado on his butt, and he just kept going for the win. He doesn't give up. Sometimes you see people and they're fighting, they're like, oh yeah, I got this. So they kind of rest back, NFL teams will go into the prevent defense. They'll just try to keep you from getting the big shot. He's not doing that. He's going for the win the whole time. He's finishing out every play. He's following up everything to try to get the win. And Delgado if he puts in the hard work, he's got all the talent in the world. This kid's gonna be taken pretty far by his talent, but he's got to put in the hard work to get the rest of the way. And who was it he had in his corner? I want to say it was Benson Henderson that he's fighting out of the same gym as Benson Henderson. And I think that's one guy that always put in the work too. So those two together, I think, can do big things.
I think so too. The division they
but
fight
the speed.
In, what division is that again?
Yeah, his speed featherweight.
Featherweight. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, his speed and technique is going to carry him quite a long ways.
Okay. Another division that I feel like could use an influx of excitement. It's not on its last legs, but it's pretty close. We definitely need an injection of an infusion of new talent in that one too. So yeah. There's a lot of them that way. Yeah. Where some of the big guys are just sitting at the top and staying. Yeah. And they need somebody new in. I don't know if I mean, it depends how you view it, right? Going into this new era on Paramount, where people will be able to watch consistently week to week with that subscription. without having to worry about pay-per-view? Are
Yeah.
people going to want long, dominant reigning champs? Or are people going to want the belt switching, you know, hands consistently? Um, they're going to want activity. That's what I know. They're going to want active
Yeah, and I think
champions. So
I think that's probably where you're at. That they're going to want people that are exciting, whether that's a long term fighter
mhm.
or if it's just the new blood. They're going to want that excitement, and if you can provide the excitement, I don't think fans are going to care if you're long reigning or if you're the new blood coming in.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want the action, and I think you're going to find because I find this quite a bit, and let me know if you do too.
Mhm.
Sometimes the prelims are better than the main card.
Yeah, I agree.
And so when you see guys on the prelims who look like they're going to set the world on fire, and then you see people higher up on the card, you can tell because they're categorized in the prelims that they're not quite up at that level yet. But going into Paramount, where you're going to be able to watch the whole thing, everybody's going to be able to watch the whole thing. They're going to say, "Hey, put this kid up against that guy who y'all are praising so much." And I think you're going to find some younger guys knocking off some of the older guys quite a bit sooner than they would have otherwise, because they're going to the audience is going to call for it.
1,000%.
And I think Dana will probably deliver.
Yeah,
because it's going to make him money.
You're going to get, so I think the first version of that, not necessarily like that's what happened, but Joshua Van Pantoja, I think was one of the first versions of that we're going to start seeing. It's youth, it's excitement, it's the unknown, because unfortunately when it's an established fighter that is good, like nobody's going to want to see Pantoja versus who's he fought multiple times already. Let's say
Kai Kara France.
Let's say Kai Kara France. Is he going to want to run that back a third time?
Probably not.
Probably not, right? And I don't think much of the public is going to want to see that a third time. But it's the level of the unknown, right? We talk about like excitement. I could see a guy like Asmet Mirzakanov, 16-0. Gets in a firefight in the light heavyweight division. The light heavyweight division, in my opinion, if Pereira leaves, will be pretty wide open, right? And his fight style and the guys at the top's fight style are conducive to like a very exciting matchup. And even though there's guys ahead in the rankings, I could see him kind of getting that nod pretty early. Or the clean head kick that landed this week. In the lightweight division. I'm not saying that he's in the range to win, because there are some monsters up there in that lightweight division up at the top as well. But the noise would be louder if a lot more people got to see that in a potential card where there was a lightweight championship fight at the top. So I agree with you. I agree with your premise on that one for sure. I do feel like on the flip side, a lot of what makes the prelims exciting is kind of what makes the Contender Series exciting. I haven't tuned into many of those cards, but I tuned into one about 3 weeks ago, I think it was. The reason they're on the prelims, and it gets to that level, is that level of hunger, but also how talented, but not completely risk averse each fighter is. Right. So them going out there on the prelims, putting it all on the line, or in the biggest case that I've seen, the Contender Series, is stepping into danger, because I mean, what do I really have to lose at this level, right? Maybe it's a 0, maybe it's a win streak, but on the prelims, I'm not going to get to where I need to get to. Once you get up to that top level, you're really trying to hold on to essentially like that financial rope. So guys aren't fighting with the same level of hunger. Guys are fighting more protective of their status and their spot. So if there's no pay-per-view, which means there'd be no pay-per-view points, right? We haven't even gotten into like how that affects the style of fight. Like, do guys' pay just go up because of how big the contract is with Paramount? That could change the whole realm and dynamic of how these main card quote unquote fights shape up. So a lot to get into, but
Yeah, and I've wondered, once that pay per view's not there, the pay per view dollars are not there.
mm-hmm.
Now you're dealing with fighters and their managers having to individually negotiate probably a higher spot on the card,
Mm-hmm.
because that's probably going to be what dictates the money. Or I don't know if they can do ratings to see which individual fights get more ratings or whatever the case is. But yeah, I don't know how they're going to pay him. They say there's going to be more money, I thought, but I'm not sure how they're going to do it.
They probably bring in your following as a big status factor as well. We haven't seen Sugar in a while. If Sugar comes
Yeah.
back for Paramount, I feel like there'll be a negotiation. Like, okay, I have this many followers, this much consistent
Yeah.
engagement with my posts. I'm a brand outside of the UFC. This is how much I'll need to step in the ring, and this is where I need to be placed on the card to
Right.
participate. Stuff like that. Guys are gonna have to be more of a personality outside of the octagon, which I feel like is already a struggle for a lot of fighters.
Hmm.
And be more personable on the mic to generate more eyes, not necessarily for pay-per-view portions, but to negotiate contracts. It's going to be an interesting world to
Yeah.
be in for sure. I'm excited to see how it all shakes out. I'm sure we'll kind of cover the differences on what the UFC looks like post
Yeah.
pay-per-view. Once we start getting a little bit more of a grasp of how it works out,
Yeah.
One guy
And
would.
that could,
You go first. You go first.
I was saying that could open up because now you basically have to be a small business,
Mm-hmm.
just to be able to fight at the highest levels, or at least to be able to make the money. And that kind of opens it up for somebody else, to open up with a league that tries to go strictly by the rankings. Now, I don't know that it's going to get those. It would get those eyes, but it would be an opportunity for someone else to try to step in and try to steal the prestige by presenting it as these are the toughest fighters, the strongest fighters. We don't care about your talk, and just have the fights. Could they ever overtake the UFC? I doubt it, but there's an opportunity out there to do something that and to break in if it were to go that way, like you were talking about with the personality and the eyes coming to watch it. When it becomes about the money, it's not necessarily about the sport as much, and then it opens up that opportunity to make it about the sport with somebody else. So that would be interesting. Yeah.
So many factors will go into it, like what practices are most exciting. Which guys are willing to again put that risk out there. To create the moments, to generate eyes coming to them. Maybe they're not that big of a speaker, some of our influx of foreign talent, because if it's one thing that we've talked about on the pod, which continues to kind of be the case, American-born UFC fighters are steadily falling in the rankings and not really up for much title fights. So as somebody who probably is going to try to introduce themselves to the sport potentially, or if you try to bring somebody into the sport by saying, hey man, get a Paramount subscription and start watching some UFC fights, and they don't see any real familiar cities being called out in these pre-fight announcements or anything like that, that's also a factor. We look at this card. Was there one American on the main card? Mario Bautista was on the main card. That was it.
He was.
I mean, Mackenzie Dern's technically American. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot the messenger. No, I know she represents Brazil now, but
yeah. But yeah, you're right. Yeah. On the main card, one person, representing the U.S.
Technical two, but one, right? So yeah, there's so many factors to kind of go into it, but we'll see how.
And it actually, if you go down the whole card, I can't see the women's fight at the bottom because it's not showing me. There's only one other American on the whole card.
Yeah, Mitch Raposa. Yep, it's Delgado fought out of America too.
They've got him under Mexico in the UFC.
Really? Oh well, ESPN
Yeah, I know
has.
he fights out of I think Arizona,
Yeah.
but they've got his flag he
Nationality.
represents is Mexico. Yeah,
Okay. So yeah, I mean,
but they got Chris Barnett of Spain, so
what the heck?
they do.
I mean, does he? I guess he does rock heavily with Spain because yeah,
Yeah, I mean
he's
he's American though, but yeah.
he fights out of Spain too, nationality wise.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, a lot for the UFC to kind of look into, not necessarily interfere in, but see what they definitely got to have a plan with this new Paramount situation. So excited to see how that shakes out. Um, One guy that I wouldn't even want to get paid to watch fight, um, which I hope I don't see much on these Paramount cards coming up, because I am
Tell me.
his, you know, I'll go back through history. Jonathan Almeida, when he was on his run, I
Hmm.
took him, I think it was a little bit over a year and a half ago, in a dabble of
Yeah.
picks, right? Um, to just do his job, to win against a undermatched ground game guy. Well, I don't know if I'd call it undermatched, but I don't remember who it was against. Was it against Chris? Who's the other grappler in the heavyweight division? That's like Curtis Blades. I think it was Curtis Blades.
Okay.
Yes, it was Curtis Blades. I figured with his ability on the ground, his love for wrestling, he'd be able to give Curtis Blades some trouble, right?
Hmm.
Plus, at that point, he wasn't, you know, known for solely being a ground specialist. He had some heavy hands, right? He was known for throwing those things around a little bit. I felt like he was a good combination of both to go in there and give Curtis Blades some
Yeah.
trouble. He performs the most haphazard takedown attempt I've seen ever. Takes a bunch of punches to the side of the face. TKO. Right? So I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's frustrating. I don't like people who are so set on a specific style of fight that he's clearly in danger and he's not doing anything to get himself out of that danger.
Yeah.
Cool. Goes on a little bit of a run. Here comes the Volkov fight. Now we know everybody knows what happened with Volkov that last fight that he had against Gon. Nine
Yeah.
out of
It's the robbery.
yep, 9 out of 10 UFC fans will tell you that Volkov won that fight. Um, the 1 out of 10 that tells you that Gon won is probably gone.
Yeah.
But we go into this fight, and I am anticipating either a Volkov jab fest trying to avoid the takedown, or an
Hmm.
Almeida grab and lay fest because Volkov's not inexperienced on the ground. Volkov's actually is a decent ground practicing
Yep.
heavyweight. So I figured it would be very difficult for him to, get a submission on Volkov. And with that frustration, he'll probably just lean into manhandling and pushing control time.
Hmm.
Now we're still working on the art of MMA scoring system, TBD, right? But
Yeah.
in Amal's eyes, watching this fight, the first round, Almeida had significant control time, but Volkov actually did quite a bit of activity and some damage off the back, and got some control time himself in there, right?
Yeah.
Rounds 2 and 3, though, very clearly was the Almeida shoot and lay show.
Yes.
Um, and by the standards that the UFC has set, that is a 10-9 round for Almeida, meaning that
Mm.
Almeida, in my eyes, even though I was very upset about it, won the fight 29-28, right? Because I gave the first round to Volkov.
Yeah.
Now, I dabbled over the weekend, and I had
Yeah.
Volkov winning by a decision at plus 700. That was one of my favorite long shots to put into anything, because I feel like, again, if they were going to make up for the call, I'm about the narrative sometimes. If they're going to make up for the call, Almeida fights the type of fight where they can make up for the call. If he was going to jab him to death, there was a path to victory that way where he was going to win by decision. And if he was going to be able to survive some of those ground stuff, there's also a path to victory for Volkov by decision. I feel like there were too many angles where Volkov could win by decision for it to be plus 700 odds. But did he win? No, he did not win that fight based on the precedent that the UFC has set in previous fights.
Right.
What is your take on that fight?
My take on that fight is so hard. So here's what I think that I agree that if you are on bottom and you are punching the other guy and the other guy's on top and he's not punching you and he's not submitting you, he is not winning the fight.
Exactly.
You're getting beaten up from the bottom. On the other hand, if you're in a fight with somebody and they're holding you on the ground and you can't get up, you're probably not in a dominant position.
Correct.
So I don't have a problem with the decision. Honestly, I was happy to see it.
I was so excited to see it.
My reasoning for being happy to see it is probably similar to yours in that I don't like guys that just go to hold him down in a fight. Self-defense, that's great. Hold the guy, hold him till the cops get there, push him up against the wall and hold him there. You don't have to punch him. You don't have to beat him up. But when you're in a fight, your objective is to win. And when you're just holding the guy down, you're stalling. You're stalling. You can be on a guy and not really trying to advance your position. You're not trying to do anything else. You got a dominant position, whether you got there by skill or by luck, and now you're just stalling. And if you're going to try to win a fight, you have to be trying to advance your position. You don't have to necessarily be dropping elbows on the guy, but maybe you're trying to look for submissions. Maybe you're trying to get to a better spot. And the idea that you can just lay on the guy, to me, I was fine with the decision. I liked the idea, and I've seen it in a very, very few fights where the guy gets taken down and he's pretty much beating the guy up from the bottom. And he ended up winning the fight. But it's so rare. Usually rare. They give it to the guy on top who isn't really trying to win the fight. He's trying to pass the time so that he can win off of points. And I hate that across all boards where it's trying to win by stalling. The Four Corners North Carolina used to do, you're winning by stalling. Drawing the foul like they do a lot in basketball, I hate that. So you're winning off of technicality and not skill.
Not a Shea fan, not a SGA or a James Harden about 5 or 6 years ago.
I'm not a fan of drawing the foul. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the, keeping one hand on the ground so the guy can't knee you. You're on your feet. Get on, defend yourself. Don't put a hand down.
Yeah.
I don't like the little technicalities that people use to. It's not cheating. And it is smart. It's just not right.
We have a term that I don't want to say that me and my friends coined, but we've heard it a bunch, and we utilize it a lot, especially when speaking about basketball, right? Ethical basketball players. And I feel like ethical fighters is where we go with it as well, right? Not because it's technically within the realm of rules and could be performed means it's a valiant or ethical way to perform in the octagon, right? And when I see somebody, I won't say he completely had control of Volkov because Volkov was moving. There was inactivity. On both ends at some point, to the point where they had to be stood up, right? And the name of the game isn't just control time. It's
Yeah.
UFC fighting championship, not UFC
Yeah.
laying championship.
Right.
So I'm glad that they kind of, even if it's the wrong decision, because I think, again, you've set the precedent with other fights.
Hmm.
As long as you're getting takedowns and getting control time,
Yeah.
you win the fight. By that
Yeah.
precedent, he did win the fight.
Right.
Just
No, I agree with you on that.
yeah.
By precedent, yeah, he
By
should have
what
won
you
that fight.
said,
But
yeah.
I think it's it's the difference between the letter of a law and the spirit of a law.
Yeah.
And I feel like people take the letter of the law to win as opposed to what was meant by it. And I think people have seen a pattern and they've recognized that if I do this, I can win. But you're not winning the fight. You're not winning in the spirit of fighting. And I feel like that's where his game has gone. And it came back to bite him this time because the judges said, no, that's not in the spirit of what we're doing here.
7 of 9 takedowns. He only had 33 total strikes. Executed 27 of them, so 33 attempts. 9 of 10 significant strikes. While on the other end, in a 3-round fight, Volkov landed 123 total strikes, which majority of those were jabs, as expected. 24 significant strikes landed. Had 2 minutes of control time. Yeah, so I mean, we get into a really tricky spot though, because at what point, obviously the Hamzat win was very dominant.
Right.
But it was a lot of takedowns, and yes, he had 500 and something strikes. All of them were insignificant.
Right.
They were taps from the top of the guard or whatever, and he was winning the fight, but he wasn't finishing a fight that he potentially could finish. With how dominant he was being, he could have put himself in a position, risky or not, to finish that fight, and he did not. But there was no, you know what I mean? Obviously, again, 5 rounds of consistent takedowns and stuff, a little bit different than this situation.
Yeah.
But
I feel like Hamzat's a little different in that a fight it's physical and it's mental. He's still beating the guy up. I mean, even though they're not heavy strikes, he's still fighting the guy. He's still striking him. Is he trying to finish him? You could make the argument he's not, and I totally get that. And I think you're probably right on that. But he is still fighting.
You can
and
make
I think
the
that's the
argument that
difference on this.
takedowns in themselves were strikes. Some of those were spears. To be honest.
Well, I thought about that watching some of these fights where oh gosh, who was it? It might have been Nurmagomedov, where he's holding on to the guy and the guy's getting up and he's still holding him, and he picks him up and he slams him again. Like, the more times you slam somebody, hitting that mat is a strike. And if people did takedowns, that violently, sometimes I think it would get a little more respect than somebody just laying on somebody.
1,000%. Coming out of this fight, I mean, yes, they did gift Volkov a win that I feel like he should have had. Barring all the extracurricular, Pereira coming to the division, John Jones coming back to fight Pereira, Aspinall gone rematch, I feel like he's right there. In the waiting to be the next one to kind of challenge for the belt. And in terms of mixing both ground and standing game and the length he presents and the trouble he could present with that length, he's an interesting fighter, man. To kind of lay your bets with going forward for that division. And for Almeida, I think he needs to go back to the basics. And what I mean back to the basics is you're significantly strong and quicker than most of that division. If you're not going to cut to go down to light heavyweight, which you are massive and not much of it looks like BMI that you could cut.
Did you know his first fight was at welterweight?
Jeez Louise, these guys, man. Oh my gosh. I can't even fathom.
I don't even know if it was amateur. And I was looking over his record earlier and I was like, he fought it one fight at welterweight at the beginning of his career.
Was he like 14? Like, what happened?
I don't know.
That dude's just, I don't get it. It's I mean, I guess technically, like, I still struggle to see how Usman makes welterweight, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's big.
Yeah, so I guess you could do something like that, a full drain and then a full rehydrate. But if you're not going to go back down
Yeah,
and do something like that at light heavyweight or something like that, at heavyweight, maybe there's not as much trust in your punches at the UFC
maybe.
level, right?
Yeah, I see it.
I don't know what it is. Maybe to put down a 250-pound guy is pretty difficult. 240-pound guy is pretty difficult. So, but if you're gonna get on the ground and get into those exchanges, give me some ground and pound.
Yeah,
Give me something, right? Even as a guy who's not the
yeah,
biggest fan of wrestling, I could respect a guy again. The Hamza fight, just the sheer dominance of the takedowns. Even though I'm not
yeah.
a big wrestling guy, he didn't just lay on top of him. There are moments where
Right.
they were back up and he just speared him again. I'm not saying it was an
Yeah.
exciting fight, but it showed me, okay, this guy has nothing for him. Right? So
Right.
you got to give me that at least.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I don't know who they put him against. You were jokingly saying Walter Walker. I wouldn't be mad at that. Um,
Who Almeida?
yeah,
Yeah, I don't think he gets somebody above him.
yeah.
I mean maybe they do because
Think
I don't even think Dana wants to gift him anything.
I'm lucky. He's lucky
To be
he
honest
didn't
with
get
you.
cut too. To be honest,
Yeah,
like
I mean he's because he will cut skilled guys.
1,000%. He's gotten rid
Look
of
at
an
what it was.
undefeated fighter.
He gave up. What's his name? Starts with an M.
Mighty Mouse.
Nah, he was. Well, yeah, he
Yeah, he
did give him
traded
up too.
him.
That's
Yeah, he
crazy.
traded Mighty Mouse.
Yeah. No, early last year he had that fight with
Yeah,
was it
Makayev.
Cop? Yeah,
Makayev
Makayev.
got traded, right? Well, not traded, just
Or
let
well,
go.
they just didn't sign him. They didn't
Yeah.
pick up his contract again because he caused too many problems outside of it. I mean, this is, and he even said somebody's going to get probably the best featherweight in the world,
But he's undefeated and all
and
that, and he didn't care.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's not going to win in the UFC. He's not going to be here,
Nope.
so they will cut you. That he just needs to take his next fight and try to be more exciting with it because take whatever he can get at this point.
Got to lean off
And-
being that risk averse.
And keep your ankles away from Volkov because he's coming. Or
Walter.
Vulture.
Yeah, keep the ankles away from Walter, 100%. I do want to get into the main fight. So, quick preface of the Umar fight. Started off pretty hot for Mario Batista. Then Umar started doing what Umar does as usual. Pretty significant victory for him. Puts him right back in the room. It's sounding like it's going to be Peter Yan next, though, for a rematch against Merab. So, wait your turn. You probably get a chance to run it back again. Unfortunately, it's probably going to be against Merab again. And who knows, man? I think out of guys to potentially give Merab trouble, Umar's right there. So it could be a different result. I just don't really get too excited or get up for those types of matches when it's a rematch of guys with similar styles, unless somebody's going to step out of their element a little bit, right? So, a good win by him. And then when I talk about the narratives, when I go narrative based dabbling, right? Mackenzie Dern by decision was one of probably my second favorite narrative bet of the weekend, because in all actuality, yes, she's had some wins in a row. She should not be fighting for a vacant belt.
Right.
But narrative, the UFC wants to promote that division. And even though she's technically not American, she is American. Has a pretty decent following. Markets herself very differently than a lot of the other women in that division. And she's not skilled, as she proved in this fight. I just don't think she'll have a dominant reign as a champion. I think
that's probably true.
I think somebody with above average skills on both levels could present a lot of problems for her, as has been the case throughout her career to that point. But who they wanted to have the belt has the belt. And I don't think there was any controversy at all. She fought very well. I didn't think Verna had enough for her on the ground, and Verna's striking is a little less skilled than Mackenzie's abilities there. So she won the fight on the feet, won by decision, and is the champ until Whaley decides to come back down, or You know, there's some potential.
Yeah.
We talked about women, some heavy-handed women coming up through the ranks.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. But good win for
I
her.
think Mackenzie has. I'm not a huge fan of Mackenzie Dern. However, I don't know what it is that makes me say I don't really want to be a fan of hers, but there's something there that I just don't. It rubs me the wrong way. But she is an amazing grappler.
Yes.
And she does have that heart, and she does keep going. She's got that determination, and she is a good fighter. And do I think she deserved a title fight? Actually, I don't really. But she is up there with the best. I mean, she's fought some of the best in there, so I'm not mad that she got one. But the UFC puts the people that they want to have the title in the fight. She was invited to the
100%.
fight. She came and she won. And so she is the champ right now. And, she could have a long, they talk about, Daniel Cormier talks about it. Once you win the title, you gain about 30% skill just in confidence.
Okay, that's an interesting take.
And so if you get that much better, she might be a dominant champion. We'll see what her confidence level is. I think Tatiana's going to try to come, and you got some other people in there. I don't know if Wiley will come back if she wins.
Could present trouble because Jan's biggest issue was Weili a lot of the time in that division. So taking Weili out of that division, I feel like Xiaonan could, create some problems. Even though she recently lost to Jandaroba, so maybe I'm not giving Mackenzie enough flowers for what she's done on her recent run. I mean,
she's had a good run. She's
just looking at some of the people that got beat by her coming up to this championship fight. I don't know. Andrade's been on a little bit of a fall off, but every time I see her fight, I see the talent there. Maybe it's just an open division, and I'm not used to seeing somebody that lacks that sheer dominance at the top right now. Maybe that's why. And I see the holes in her game, and I see who she could lose to.
To your point against Jan has actually a victory over her.
Yeah, so that's the stuff. I see people below her that I know could win fights against her. When in most cases, you really are drawing at straws, right? Like Ilya, we're struggling to see who's his real. Okay, that guy could definitely beat him. Pantoja, same thing. Merab, same thing. Volkanovski's had some people beat him, but there's not much fights you're going in. You're like, he's completely outmatched. Right. Jack's probably the first place you get to where you're like, okay, Sean Brady could be problems. Shavkat Rakhmonov could be problems. Usman on his best day could be problems, right? So he's up there based on just matchmaking and timing. But Hamzat, throw the whole division away. At this point, I don't think anybody's going to take him down, right? And then Pereira on his best day, we said it over and over again. If you have to get in there with him, allegedly one of the better takedown artists in that division just got KO'd by him, right? So it's just tough. Kayla Harrison, throw the whole division away for now, right? There's those type of champions, and then there's Mackenzie Dern, and maybe that's why. Again, I might be hating a little bit, but we'll see where it goes. We'll see, like you said, if that confidence really boosts her ego a little bit, and she really gets to be the level of champion she wants to be after fighting for it for so many years.
Yeah, or it could just trade hands. You remember 205?
Yeah.
Before John Jones got the title, they went Shogun. Shogun was the last one. But from Liddell to Rampage, not Rampage. No, I think Rampage was. But who's the other one? That I'm thinking of
Anthony Johnson
in there. Anyway, they had a few of them. They had a few guys who won the title, then lost the title, then won the title.
Yeah.
They were just won the championship, couldn't defend it. Won the championship, couldn't defend it. And it rotated through guys like that. They were talking about Machida. This is going to be the Machida era, and then he lost his first defense. And he never could get back there. So you never know if that's going to happen to Dern or if she's going to take off. But
wish her the best on that journey for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a cool story. Her daughter is there to see her be champion. It's beautiful.
Oh, was she?
Yeah. So, you know, again, we'll see how it all shakes up. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm just probably not the biggest optimist on her being a long-standing champion.
Right.
With the talent below. One thing I want to get into before we get off of here. The championship fight. Now I feel like there's been some overstated success for Gon. Yes, he had some moments. Yes, he bloodied Tom's nose. Yes, Tom didn't successfully take him down. It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
If you eye gouge somebody, especially multiple times, and the person can't see, it's kind of final. I don't know why we're getting into this conversation about quitting or whatever the case is. One of my fighters that I rag on a lot because I saw so much potential in him, Kevin Holland, tried to do the quote-unquote amicable thing, right?
Yeah.
Taking
that was hard to watch.
Yeah, taking that strike and continuing to fight when he probably should have just called it, right? And on the flip side, a guy on the come up who's had a bunch of stuff attached to his name, positively in the media, negatively in the media, Cedric Damas from where we're from, right here. Took the same strike about 2 weeks before the Holland one, and was like, "Yeah, I can't do it." And then they rolled him for it, said that he quit, right? If you get illegally struck, that's it. I don't know why we're blaming the victim. It doesn't matter, right? I was one of the guys who ragged on Aljamain for winning the belt off the illegal knee. Said that he played it up, but in the grand scheme of things, he won.
Yeah,
he got illegally struck.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, and being honorable doesn't, quote unquote, being honorable or saying, I'm not going to win the belt in that type of fashion doesn't get you any brownie points. Lionheart should have been a champion.
Yeah.
Right? And we look back at his career and, you know, it doesn't matter how he won it. If he had won the belt there, you just said 30% confidence boost holding a belt.
Hey.
Who knows? Right? Obviously, John probably gets that one back immediately, but who knows what happens? John gets in trouble a lot. John probably could have been gone and not got the opportunity to run that one back immediately. So, I don't know. You just look at these things, and for a guy who there's already whispers of him potentially leaving the sport to go to boxing, bigger payday, you know.
For who?
Aspinall.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you want the payday, I get it. But
I think
I wouldn't take you serious as a boxer switching over right now.
No, he doesn't have the. I think Dylan White puts him out. I think there's a few heavyweights that get him out of there fairly quickly. But for argument's sake, if that's something that he's thinking about, as a person in the UFC and as a leader in the UFC, and this is more of a Dana White conversation, you didn't protect your fighter in the post-game conference or post-fight conference. You made it seem like it was something that he copped out and quit, when this guy kind of held down, stayed quiet for the most part,
right?
While you went back and forth with John about a fight that John didn't really want. It wasn't even a money thing, right? And the guy gets double eye gouged, and we act like, you know, he faked a hamstring injury or something. It's terrible, right?
Yeah.
As soon as his vision's back, I think they should run it back. It might end up being a Paramount card, which this could build up the, you know, inertia for people to be excited for, okay, this guy almost got him, and now they're running it back where I can watch it without having to pay the pay-per-view. Maybe that's a good look.
Yeah.
I've heard Henry Cejudo talking about running it back on the December card that he's on. I think he just wants some more eyes on that pay-per-view so he can get a little bit of bread. So smart move, Henry. But it's disgusting, honestly, the way that I feel like when you've had a champion of Aspinall's like performance, right? Pretty even keel, no trouble in the media, nothing like that. Just wanted to fight John and kept pushing that fight. And you pretty much leave him to be graded by the fan base and not come out and be like, nah. You know, he's a great fighter. In my opinion. Doesn't come off as a guy who would quit he got double eye gouged. If he said he can't see, he can't see.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So just disheartening to see from the not only public but from the person who should be very appreciative for what Aspinall has done for the heavyweight division while
Yeah.
it's been kind of on its last legs. What do you think?
Okay. So on that point, that's kind of the antithesis to what I said earlier with the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. However, I would agree with you on this when they talk about winning this way. I don't like the idea of someone winning by putting their hand on the mat so you can't knee them.
Yeah.
However, when someone commits a penalty in any other sport, everybody expects it to be called.
1,000%, yeah.
This is the only place in sport that I can think of right now where if you openly commit a penalty, purposefully or not, you're not called for it. You're only called for it if the other guy makes a big deal about it. If the other guy stops fighting, and the refs aren't stopping eye pokes when somebody thinks it's fine. I mean, look at Pereira and Hill. Pereira was like, no, don't come in here. Mm-hmm. The ref should have absolutely stopped that and had him go stand across. 100%. Now he didn't. Pereira got the win. It is what it is. And you can say that about everybody in the past because everybody keeps going in the octagon and being a part of it. But they should 100% take more points than they do. Eye gouging should not be a part of the sport if you've made it illegal.
Correct.
If you're going to let one person get away with it, everybody should get away with it. Yuri Prohaska might be okay with people eye gouging him if he can eye gouge him back.
That's what he said. I have another eye to fight with.
Yeah,
all right, Yuri.
Yeah,
but that's not the rules, Yuri.
If you're going to allow it for everybody, allow it for everybody. But I'll tell you one thing. What Aspinall did here. Aspinall not only retained his title about Gane, but he also took away John Jones's best weapon. All in one fell swoop. 2 birds, 1 stone. If you eye gouge Tom Aspinall now and you're John Jones, what's going to happen?
Yep.
You're not going to eye gouge him because you might lose the fight because Aspinall is not going to come back out there.
Nope.
If he can't see.
Nope.
And he shouldn't. And he should stand on that. And John Jones has gotten away with a lot. Yeah. I mean, his main weapon to keep distance is to keep his fingers out. Glover Teixeira could not get in on him because he kept getting poked in the eyes. Glover Teixeira has to get in on you to win the fight. And when your main weapon against that is to keep your fingers out and spread, as long as the refs allow that to happen, he'll keep winning like that. So you're going to have to see him win a different way. And I think he will. I think John Jones would win a different way. But he can't use that weapon. So he's nullified that weapon if he ever fights John Jones. And I think he did something good for the sport. I think him not going back out there ultimately will be better off for the sport. I am disappointed in the way Dana reacted.
Yeah.
And the way he has not been defended by some of his peers.
Yeah, it's
because
weird to see, honestly.
Yeah. But I think it was a 2 birds, 1 stone move, whether he meant for it to be or not. He beats Gane. Or no contest. He keeps his belt. He still gets another fight without having to risk very much. And he takes that main weapon away from John Jones.
Yeah, it'll definitely be something that John has to think about if they ever cross paths. That the fight will end if he pokes him in the eye.
Yeah.
Especially now with the damage that has been, done. Going forward, it's not going to be much better, right? So, yeah, tough way for that card to end. I do think they need to run it back. But I think it's a little bit, crazy to say this fight was going to be Gane's off of 1 round of exchanges, right? So, guys,
I don't know that they need to run that back right away.
I think
if you fight with your hands out like that, I feel like you know what you're doing. If you can't keep your fingers in I think that they are. I don't know that you should be rewarded with another fight right off the bat for that. I think he can get there again with some other fights, but I don't know if you reward that with giving him a shot right off the bat. I know they said it was accidental. There's plenty of fighters out there who have never poked anyone in the eye.
You're right. Jim Miller said he hasn't
And
done it in 46 fights or 43 fights, whatever it is. So,
I mean, yeah. So if all these experienced guys can go out there and not poke somebody in the eye on accident,
you can't.
but yet you've got a bunch of you've had issues in the past because it wasn't Gon's first time, I don't think.
No.
And so you have to keep your hands shut, and if you can't do that, I don't know that you should be rewarded with that.
No, for sure.
But that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how things progress.
Yeah,
Definitely want to see Aspinall in there again as soon as he feels better. And honestly, if Gon has to fight another fight to get back to it, I wouldn't be mad. I think he was kind of gifted this one in the first place. Maybe running back
a lot of people thought that.
Gon again. And let's see how that shakes up. But me personally, I'm good with where we ended up with that card. And then on to the next one, man. Then speaking of on to the next one, on to the next pod. It's been good to get back on here.
Yes, it has.
Depending on how the video looks, which might be shaky on this one. Might run this one on YouTube and start running YouTube as well too.
There you go.
But yeah, it's good to be back. Any closing thoughts, Roger?
Not really. Looking forward to some of these divisions getting some more blood in them. I mean, the middleweight division looks totally different than it did a year ago.
Right, it does.
And Brendan Allen just introduced himself, and DeRitter just said, "Not right now."
No, for sure.
So, just a lot of new bloods coming in, and I like to see it. So, and I'm also curious to see when Taporia is coming back, and who they're going to have him, because I think soon enough they're going to have to do an interim champ if he won't fight.
No, for sure. It sounded like it's paramount. The last news was that he was waiting for the Jack and Islam fight to play out, and then he might try to go up to go get that from Islam. So, I don't know. Lots on the horizon. Can't wait to see it all. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope y'all enjoyed the pod. And we'll see you hopefully very, very soon with more pod and videos for y'all. All right, until next time. Peace.